Hi everyone, so I'm back with part 3 of this tutorial series where I show you some places you can buy K-pop from. And today I'll be going over another Japanese proxy site called Japonica Market. And so what's special about Japonica is that not only do they cover the standard places that most Japanese proxy sites will allow you to buy from, such as Yahoo Auctions and Amazon Japan, and a few other places, but they also cover Japanese flea market sites, which is really the gold mine when it comes to finding exclusive and very rare K-pop merchandise. And so this is a really great alternative if you are a collector looking for some very hard to find things or just some really great bundle deals. From places like Mercari or Frill or a few other of the known Japanese flea market sites. So in this tutorial, I'll be going over the process of how you could use Japonica Market, but first I want to go over their fee structure, which is something to take into consideration when using them. So going up to services here, it's a nice little diagram of how their service works. So you could either have them place a bid for you on some auction site or have them try to buy something from a shopping site. And so what you will do is fill out this form with your email and your deposit that you give to them through PayPal. And so they're either going to bid on the item for you or buy it. And once they receive the item, given that you win the item and that the item is available from whatever seller you're trying to buy from, they will have it shipped to their warehouse where it doesn't say here, but they'll store it for up to 30 days. And depending on how many items you want sent out, they can consolidate an international package and give you a PayPal invoice for how much the shipping will cost and whatever remaining fees are left over after your deposit payment, and then ship it to your home. So they do have this extensive essay of how their service works. I won't be going through every step of how to fill out the form here since I'll be making an order very soon. But basically they're telling you that you need to place a deposit for them to take any action on either bidding or trying to buy an item for you. And if somehow you lose the auction or they can't purchase the item for you, they will refund your deposit 100% back within 24 hours. That's all it's saying there. And here they explain about shipping to their warehouse. And so you can have multiple orders made through them, and they do store all these for up to 30 days. And then once you're ready to ship everything out, they can consolidate a package for you to ship out to you internationally from their Tokyo office. And step 4 here explains how their PayPal invoice works. So once all the items that you had them buy for you come to their warehouse and you ask them to consolidate a package and they figure out how much the shipping costs, they will, through PayPal, directly send you an invoice of how much is left over after taking everything out of your deposit for the remaining payment. And if somehow you overpaid during the deposit, so say you tried buying some items but they fell through, they will send you a refund within 24 hours. And here they can explain that you need to pay within 7 days after sending an invoice. Once you paid within 24 hours, they will ship your items out to you, as well as whatever tracking information happened, but they can only ship to your PayPal address. So you can't, I think, have it sent to anyone else. So that's another caveat about using Japonica. Here they explain how bidding works with Yahoo Auctions. I personally don't use them for Yahoo Auction bidding. I think SendMarket is a better alternative, which my first tutorial goes over why that is. But it's possible to use them for that as well, but I'm going to kind of just skip over this because I personally haven't done this with them. And they also explain how much shipping costs within Japan works. So Some of the sellers may not have the postage included with whatever goods they're selling. So here they provide how much that postage typically costs, which you could check out. And here are some screenshots of how to do the order form. You guys could look at this later on your own, since I'll be going through all these steps in a little bit. Now for fees. So Japonica has this structured commission fee rate. So it depends on how much the item you're interested in costs. It would be how much they'll take out as a fee for providing their services. So here outlines all the payments you'll be making using their services. So this first one here is probably obvious, but this is how much the goods cost originally from either the auction site or the shopping site. The second line here explains that there may be a domestic shipping fee within Japan that you'll have to pay if it doesn't happen to be free shipping. And then you'll have to pay a commission, which they explain down here in this table. So whatever item you buy, if it falls into one of these intervals, that's how much the commission price will be. So their fee structure is higher than places like Z Market, which has a just flat 300 yen fee, since they do start at 500 yen. But I guess the more expensive the goods are. So if you're going into like the 2000 range, there won't be a commission price, but I don't think any of us will probably fall under this. We're probably going to be looking maybe around here. So another proxy site that I probably won't go into in this tutorial because I stopped using them was White Rabbit Express, and their fees are much higher than what you see in this table here. And they're the only other place that I know of that will buy things from flea market sites. So I think this is a pretty competitive fee structure, but not competitive when it comes to auction sites, but just flea market sites. And coming back to the total payment here, this fourth one is international shipping. So however, after they consolidate your package, just how much it would cost to ship to your country, and then the PayPal fees you'll also need to cover. And so this is just a standard commission rate for certain items, either from auction sites or shopping sites. They do offer some reduced payments if, for example, you buy things from the same seller. So they do have examples here of how that would work. And so this example is winning something on Yahoo Auctions for 1,500 yen. The commission is going to be 500 yen. And then how much shipping would cost, and PayPal fees, and domestic shipping. So this Madonna CD would end up being around 3,000 yen. And then here they provide an example of how you could save a bit on commission fees if you purchase something from the same seller. So basically, if you get a second item from the same seller on the same site at the same time, you get half the price for the commission fee of whatever it would be. If you get a third item, they'll be 75% off that commission fee, and they could, again, combine things for up to 30 days in their warehouse and consolidate a package for you. So here's an example of how they would do that. So this is just one seller, so you have to pay the regular 500 yen fee since the CD is 1,500 yen. And then there's this other seller that they purchased from in the same order with 4 CDs. And so they all have these varying prices of how expensive those CDs cost. And here you can see how the fees were reduced. And then again, just them explaining how the deposit works with more examples. Though I feel like all these examples just kind of complicate things. So hopefully when I show you guys the form and go over my order with them, it'll be a bit more easier to take in. And here again, they're just explaining the PayPal fees. And just more examples. They really like to go with examples to make it really clear how shopping with them would work. and all the different type of things you could buy, and examples of how much international shipping would be because of that. And then lastly here, before I show you how to use Japonica through an example, is the shipping. So this is the part I think that you really need to think about first before deciding whether to use Japonica or not, because there are a few caveats that may make their service not ideal for whatever you're trying to buy. So shipping wise, there are 4 different options that you could do. You could do this small packet registered SAL, or registered airmail, or SAL parcel, or EMS shipping. So the options here are far fewer than a lot of other proxy sites, especially after showing you how ZenMarket operated and all the different shipping types that you could choose from. But this table here shows you the restrictions of when you could use which type of shipping. So I'm going to start off with this first one here, the small packet. So this one is going to be for very light items. So if you want to buy photo cards or maybe like a very small photo book. So the weight limit is 2 kilograms. So it's not very much. And it does have a size limit too. And this does have, I think, tracking because it's registered. Maybe it doesn't work for every country here is why it says yes or no. But this is the service that will probably take the longest. This one and also a sale parcel. But down here with the insurance fee part, this is, I think, the most restrictive thing when it comes to Japonica's service. So in order to use the registered SAL small packet, you can't have any of the goods in total be over 6,000 Japanese yen. So if you are looking to buy multiple items that have varying costs, especially very rare items that could be a bit pricier than standard photo cards or CDs, this may not be an option for you. Since on the customs form, they are going to fill out the exact amount that the goods will cost. And so if it adds up to more than 6,000 yen, they won't use this type of shipping. And then over here to registered airmail, this one is faster than small packet, but it does have the same restrictions both with weight, size, and insurance fee. So I think of these two, I do like registered airmail over small packet because it does get to you quicker. And because we're only looking at 2 kilograms here, usually the cost isn't that much more to go with registered airmail versus registered SAL. So if you only want a couple like very cheap photo cards, this is not a bad option. And they do provide down here a chart of how much things will cost depending on your country. So in Asia, they have a chart here, and then North America and Central America and all these other countries is here. And then we have Europe here, and South America and Africa. So depending on where you live, you can investigate more of the cost differences. And so, for example, if I got something that was 1,000 kilograms and the difference between the small packet and registered airmail is about $5. So I would personally pay the $5 to get my goods to me quicker, since I really hate waiting for small packets to come to me. But coming back up top here, these are the 2 options for heavier boxes. So starting off with SAL parcel, this will take just as long as small packet. So it could take between 2 weeks or 1.5 months, but it can hold up to 20 to 30 kilograms, and with this size limit for the box dimensions. But here again, this may be too restrictive for some people who use proxy sites, especially if you're buying very expensive goods. So the total value of the parcel can exceed this amount. And so this is about 100 USD And I know I personally like to buy a lot of things all at once, and so it does add up. And so if you're trying to make a big order, Japonica is not probably the proxy site to use, unfortunately. So you would have to use EMS shipping, which can get very expensive, especially for very heavy items. So going back to this chart here, if you look at EMS shipping, we're looking at over $50 for some of these things. You may notice the big jump here from about $38 to $50 for parcel. And just as it gets higher, we're getting into some very expensive shipping options. So I really wish Japonica would use some cheaper alternatives when it comes to heavier boxes like DHL shipping or FedEx or UPS, but maybe they'll expand on this, but for now, these are the shipping options that they do offer. And there are some things that they do note here that you need to be aware of before you place an order. It looks like for magazines and books, you can go up to 5 kilograms for these cheaper shipping options, but I don't really know what they classify as magazines or books over there. If photo books would count, or if it has to be more educational. So I haven't really played around with this yet. And then down here are some countries that they won't ship to depending on the shipping method. So there's a lot of, as you see here, European countries they won't send small packets to, as well as the cheaper parcel option for the heavier boxes. So if you do live in these countries, you're probably going to have to end up using EMS for everything, which again could get expensive depending on what you buy. And now we're going to get to the tutorial part finally, after the long explanation of how Japonica works and operates. So there are some flea market sites that I want to buy some goods on. So I'm going to go to shopping here on their main homepage. And so that's going to send us to the shopping form here. And all you need to do is put the URL as well as put a name to whatever you're trying to buy and how much the price is. And so most of the prices that you're going to be seeing on these shopping sites will include the tax. So you don't need to worry too much about this. And if there's some specifications like you want something in a certain size or just you want one certain like card or CD in particular from a huge listing, you can make note of it here. So one of the best Japanese flea market sites is called Mercari. And this is really, I think, the best place to find some really rare, exclusive K-pop related goods on the internet. They just have a really great selection that's updated every day, and there's so many Japanese fans of a lot of these K-pop groups that whenever there's promotions in Japan or there's something going on, a lot of times you could find all those goods for reasonable prices on the site. And so when it comes to searching on this, you'll use the search bar here, and it's best if the group you're interested in buying something from goes by a Japanese name on the site, to use that. And so what I like to do is bookmark all the Japanese terms from groups I like to buy things from, just so that it's easy to refer to and search for things really easily. But today I'm just going to be shopping for 2 p.m. related goods. So I'm just going to type 2 p.m. in here. And you can filter the results here. I tend to just use the default here. Since all the new items typically are sorted first. So this is usually in order, sort by newest listing. 2 p.m. is the keyword I'm using. I can put other things to narrow down my search, but right now I just want to do a broad search for this group. You can select certain categories, but honestly I don't touch this since you could find a lot of K-pop related things in multiple categories. So you don't need to really do that. We're going to size. You can do a min and max thing, but I will caution you that some of these sellers will put a price on here that's really high, but they're not selling it for that price. They just do that because they have a selection of things that you could choose from for a much lower price. So I typically don't do price filters on here. for that reason. And you can specify if you want something used or new, but I don't usually go into this. And usually for shipping fee, most of the items that you'll find on Mercari all include shipping. I've only encountered a few listings that didn't include shipping in their price, so I don't really bother going into this. And then this last part here, I sometimes play around with. Right now, the sale situation is set to all, meaning you're going to see both items that are available for sale and things that have sold out, which you'll see this little red sold sign in the corner. So if you don't want to see the things that have been sold, you could just search for the sale items, but I typically just look at everything because on these sites I find so many new things that if I've for some reason filtered them out, I wouldn't know about them. So now we can just look through all these things and see if there's something I want to buy. And so here is the first item that I want to buy because this is a very limited photo card from Junho's last night tour. And so they came out with these limited venue specific cards. So you see Kobe's right in here that go for a lot of money. And so whenever you see them for under 3,000 yen, people usually jump on them. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And so to inspect this listing to see if I want to buy it or not, you can see who the seller is, how many positive reviews they've had. Here they're making note that there is a slight scratch, which they noted here in this picture, which I'm okay with. And then an estimated shipping, so it should be shipped within a week using an ordinary non-standard sized mail option. But the postage is included in this price, so you don't need to worry too much about that. And here is the description of what the item is. Again, explaining what it is, that there's damage, how they're going to ship it, and that they're not going to negotiate on price. So since everything's fine for me, I'm going to copy the URL here and paste it in to this order form. I'm going to type in Junho last night Kobe card, and it was for 2,500 yen. And I don't really need to make a note on it because that's the only thing in that listing. If there were multiple cards in there and I had to choose, I would specify which one I wanted to buy in this box, but for now this is all I need to put in here. So I'm going to add to cart, and you'll see it listed down here. And here they're giving you a breakdown of how much the deposit you need to make. So if I just wanted to buy this, I would need to pay 250 yen plus cover the PayPal fee. And here they give you an estimate of how much that would be in USD or euros. And if for some reason the item was sold out, which I will caution you, with Mercari, it's a very popular site. So I've encountered multiple times where I would try to buy something, but someone else had already purchased it before a proxy site could get to my order. So usually I just say proceed with the rest of my orders, but you can tell them here if one of the items is already sold out, they can contact you before making your big purchase. So that if that was the crucial item of why you made the proxy site order, you could just tell them to cancel everything. And here they want to make sure that you understand the shipping options. So they have the 4 options here. And if I'm only ordering the small card, I could do registered SAL or airmail, since this would meet all the requirements here. Or if I add more things, I could upgrade it to EMS or parcel. But before I get into checking out and making payment, I'm going to add another item to make this order kind of more worth it for me. And so what I like to do is I like to bookmark a lot of items and keep watch of them, because places like Mercari will sometimes reduce their prices if they're not selling. So I kind of just have this here as a reminder of what things are, or if I want to reference certain cards or terms, I just have them bookmarked here so I could reuse them and get an idea of what I want to do with my collection or what I want to search for and buy for my collection. But Chansung has a photo book that I really want to get, and it's from a different website. It's not on Mercari, it's on what's called Frill Japan, which merged recently with Rakuten's flea market site. And here, this item I'm interested in is a musical brochure from that Chansung was in called The Interview. And this is a really hard brochure to find. I've only seen this on a Japanese site twice, and it was for over 4,000 yen. I think one of them was even like 6,000 yen. So 2,000 yen is something I'm very much willing to pay, and this does include shipping. And when it says immediate purchase possible, that just means that Japonica can just proceed to purchase and not have to comment to buy some things. Because sometimes with these flea market sites, the sellers require you to make a comment before you go ahead and purchase their item, which is why a lot of other proxy sites don't want to deal with them, because that just increases the burden on them and it would make them have to increase their fees in order to accommodate a lot of what the sellers want on these flea market sites. But anyway, I'm going to do the same thing, just copy and paste item I want here, and this is interview brochure. It's for 2,000 yen, and I don't need to note anything here, so I can just add to my cart. And both items are still in here, and they give you a summary of how much each of the items cost, what the PayPal fee will be, and how much you'll need to pay for your deposit. And before I make my order, there was one more brochure I wanted to buy, which was from another Chansung production called My Love, My Bride, which was done in Korea. And I haven't found any of these brochures, so this is a really great price, and I decided that I wanted to buy it. So here I'm just going to do the same process. And to check that price again, it's $12.99. And add to cart. And this is how it's looking so far. So if I wanted to, I can do the registered air mail if all these things happen to be under 2 kilograms, which I would say they are. I haven't really seen these brochures in person, but I imagine they're light. So I'm going to go ahead with this order, and I don't want to deal with EMS shipping. And if one of these things happens to sell out, I'm just going to tell them to proceed with my order, because all these things are really hard to find, and I would like them, even if one of these things doesn't work out. And I'm going to tell them I want the registered air mail. And then here you could put your email address. This could be different from your PayPal one because you're going to be checking out with PayPal here. But I'm going to go ahead and just use the same one as my PayPal, which I will be blocking out here because it doesn't need to be shown here. And because I don't have a deposit with them right now, I can't do this order without deposit. I'm going to have to go into PayPal and proceed. And here I'm just blocking out my payment option since you guys don't really need to see that. But I do want to point out here that Japonica will be charging you in Japanese yen. So if you happen to have a credit card or some other payment form that has a foreign transaction fee, just be aware that I'm going to be using a credit card that doesn't have a foreign transaction fee. So that way I avoid any additional fees. And then here they tell you that everything has been processed and they will send you an email about the status of your order. And I found Japonica to be one of the most responsive proxy sites concerning the status of your order. So they'll send you emails after every single step. So from when they actually go ahead and purchase your items to when they arrive at their warehouse, to giving you your shipping options, and then eventually shipping things out to you. So for this tutorial, I'll show you kind of what their emails look like, since they're kind of a little bit weird and a little funny to read. So this is the email that was sent right after placing that deposit through that order form. It is Wednesday, June 13th. So I will show you the other emails I'll be receiving from Japonica, so you get a flavor of how they operate. And here they just give you a summary of your deposit you made, including how much the goods were worth and the PayPal fee, as well as a summary of all the items you wanted purchased and the URLs, so you can refer to them again. And then here I just received this email on the same day I made the purchase, so just a few hours later, and they informed me that they bought everything, it looks like. They said, we bought it. So I'm assuming it's all 3 items, and they're going to email me again with the order status update. So I guess they just wanted to quickly tell me that they were able to purchase these things, because I was a little worried. In particular with that very rare Junho trading card for his last night tour, because those things like get snatched up so quickly, especially if it's under 3,000 yen. But yeah, overall, I really like Japonica for this reason. They are super fast with buying things. In the past, when I used From Japan, when they used to take Mercari orders, and also with White Rabbit Express, they would sometimes take over a day to actually process the order and try to make a purchase. So I've lost out on so many different listings. But Japonica is definitely the one that is the fastest for these flea market sites, which is one of the major reasons why I like to use them. So it's a few hours later, and Japonica sent me this email giving me the details that they were able to purchase all 3 items for me. And so down here, they go into detail about the items were, how much the compensation fee will be for each item, and that they were able to order all 3. And now this email arrived, and this email basically tells me that one of my items arrived at their office. And so I received this June 15th, so last night. And basically how you read this is if there's a hashtag in front of the item number, that means that the item has arrived in their office. And so you see here that item number 3 was the one to arrive. So this was the Chansung musical brochure. And I get to see what item it is by just clicking here. And it's this one. And Japonica just got back to me telling me that all the items have arrived to their office. And they're asking whether to package these all up and send a final invoice. So there are 3 things that I could do now. So I can either request them to package everything up and send me an invoice so that they can ship the 3 items that I did buy out internationally. Or I could also request them to buy some more things to be added to this parcel, since I do have up to 30 days for them to mail this parcel out. And I could also just wait to see if I want to add some more things into this package, or decide that there's something else I wanted to add and then request them to ship out later. But for this package, I just want the 3 items sent to me. And because this order was under 6,000 yen, I don't really want to go up into the EMS or SAL parcel package tier for shipping. So I think I'm just going to stick with these 3 items so that I could do registered airmail. And so down here, I just messaged them telling them that yes, please proceed with packing and sending a final invoice to me so that I could have these 3 items shipped out to me soon. And so now, a couple hours after that previous email, they replied back telling me that they can pack and send an invoice within the next few days. Okay guys, so Japonica sent me an invoice for all the shipping and everything. So the total for this entire package came out to be over 9,000 yen. And after taking out my deposit I've already made, the amount left over I need to pay for them to ship out my package is 3,487 yen. And they sent this invoice to me last night, so that would have been June 19th. And so this is going to be through registered airmail. And so in addition to this email, they also sent me an invoice on PayPal. So this is the email with my invoice, so I could just click this and pay the invoice. So it's very simple. And so shortly after I paid my invoice, so like an hour or two afterwards, they told me that they received my payment and that they'll be shipping out today. And they also gave me the tracking number for my package, which I could use this to search for it. The nice thing about the Japanese Post is that they also send you emails regarding where your package is. So this morning I received this email from the Japan Post just regarding my package, when it was received, and they'll keep sending me emails once it's delivered, which is really convenient. So that was it for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful in showing you all the steps it took to make my package, and I will expect my package to get to me in about a week or so, and it's really convenient to have that tracking to know where exactly it is. But I think Japonica is just a really great alternative when it comes to Japanese proxy sites, especially from ordering from Japanese flea market sites, which a lot of times have just really great things that you really can't find anywhere else easily. And for my next tutorials, I'm probably going to do some of the quasi proxy sites from some Korean shops. I'm not sure when I'll be able to upload that video, but it is coming. But if you have any questions regarding Japonica, leave them down below. If I forgot to mention something, I'll probably in the description list out some additional things regarding this website.